So you can see on this screen here that I've got a couple of servants. I've put one in green to switch the servant on, and I've put one in red to switch it off. And if I go into this market and we'll switch on the servant here, let's do that properly. We'll switch on the servant here. Can you see it's pending? That's because it won't start until 7 minutes out. So there you go. You can see it's turned green, and that indicates that the servant is active on this particular runner. But we have other constraints on this particular servant that will only activate it when certain things happen. So I'm going to turn that off for the moment because it's too early. We're on a Greyhound market here, and the idea of this servant is to fill the gaps. Greyhounds are very gappy markets, and if we go to the ladder you'll see what I mean by gappy. The back and lay prices are miles apart, and you can see there's just a huge gap between the back and lay prices on both sides. So really we need to get involved in this market maybe a little bit closer to the off when there's a little bit more money. At the moment you can see it's only been £74 matched, so it's probably a little bit too early for us to get involved in this market. But I wanted to show you the concept of when a servant activates and the pending state within it. But let's return to this market when it's a little bit more active. So this market is a bit more active now. You can see there's been £5,000 traded instead of 74, and we can put some servants to use. So let's start the 7 up on here. You can use whatever method you like to identify runners that would be suitable. But if I pin the chart up here, we can have a quick look through which ones are doing interesting things and which ones aren't. So Coolmore Pogba looks interesting as well. So we'll activate on that one. And what this servant is doing is basically looking to fill gaps. It's going to look to get involved in this particular market, trigger when the conditions are right, and then an offset bet goes into the market in the other direction to fill the gap. So we could activate it on several of them if we wanted to, and allow that to do it on several different runners simultaneously, which obviously you'd struggle to do if you traded manually. If you look on the ladder screen, you'll see the positions pinging into the market and where they are. And you can also see at the top of the screen the status that servants are active on this market. But obviously because we've used custom columns here, it's just an alternative way of triggering a position. And say we changed our mind on one of them, we can just switch it off. So you can see we've got 3 on and 1 off at the moment, and we can activate or deactivate these at a moment's notice. Very, very easy to do. And
this event will start in
we've got about 60 seconds left before the start of this market. So what you'll notice next in this particular market is that we've asked the servant to turn itself off ahead of post time. So when you actually look at what's going on with this particular market, you can see that there are 3 on, 1 off. They're all active at this particular moment in time. I'm going to leave it for a second.
This event starts in
30 seconds out now. And this would simply be impossible to do manually. And there it goes. Can you see all of them turned to red to indicate that the servant had finished? So what we can do now is we can hedge that position based upon how long we've got until post time. So I'm going to do that. There's the profit that we created. We did it by trading these 4 runners. We switched some on, some off at different times, and then the servant actually terminated itself, for want of a better word, switched itself off is probably a better word to use, at the appropriate time just before the start of this race, and we've hedged out successfully for a profit.